15, now you're pulling 50. And you'll come to a point where you feel like this is the maximum brake that I can give before either something goes wrong with the glider, the brake lines break, or I'm just not strong enough to hold them here anymore. And if you push past that point, that's not a good thing. The other kind of way that a lot of the manufacturers do it is that it'll steadily build up on the brake pressure. And then, as my dad said, you'll feel it, the glider kind of tremble. I describe it as all of a sudden the brakes go a little bit mushy. You're not stalled yet, but and you're still moving forward. But all of a sudden you had this real kind of sharp increase in brake pressure. Now it's just gotten soft. That's kind of where I know I'm at when I'm about to stall. Now, the thing is that you don't want to let your hands up immediately from there, even though that might be the instinctual thing to do. You got to let them up slowly. You can't let the canopy just shoot forward with all that potential energy. You got to ease it up.
Murray from Scotland, how are you this morning?
Got to agree with what Gabe just said. It's the old favourite. I've just come in from flying, which is why I haven't been listening to the show. Just come in 10 minutes ago, so I'm catching the last segment here. Nice wee technical side. And one of the things I was doing the last flight, I actually was doing stall landings, because you have a 5-strand barbed wire fence, you have a narrow area with tall dried bracken, you have a slope, and to take off you've got to bounce the glider until you've got enough pressure, walk up to the top, and then sort of step off. And the only way to land is to stall it in. And the thing to do with stalls is do lots of them, practice them. And everybody says, but you've got to go on an SIV course. You've got to be at thousands of feet.
Do them when you're landing.
Yep. Just on days when you've got nothing better to do, it's light wind, you're waiting for the day to start, pick a nice wee training slope where you're only getting a couple of feet off the ground as you glide. In other words, the slope matches your glide angle. Bring it into the stall, and as Gabe said, ease off so you don't get that dive, you don't get that surge, and recover. Do a few where you actually stall land, so you're just stalling it and holding it down that last couple of feet, spot down. And if you do that once or twice a month, you just spend half an hour when you've got nothing better to do before it starts getting flyable, you're not likely to stall when you're actually flying.
Yeah, I'd agree. I used to, just when I was coming in for landing, just make it a habit, either stall the glider or spin the glider.
Yep.
Just so I could see how it reacted. And that was the only time I could do it, because I could never get high enough, over dirt, or didn't have enough money to go out to the SIV clinics every week.
I actually do. When we've got somebody out on their first day's training, I'll actually come in and I'll take a glider, whether I'm at 100 feet or whether I'm at 20 feet, it doesn't really matter to me, and I'll hold it on the stall, perfectly parachutal so it's not folding, and I will just descend vertically and then show them recovery and actually let them see the dive.
Yeah.
And it's ideal if you've got things like Vicky Park where it's 35-foot high grass bank. You can get them standing to the side and actually watch it, and you talk to them into the stall, and you just see the glider dropping, and it really hammers home the importance of airspeed, and it also lets them see how to recover. And then you just get them doing that, but you get them doing that with you running alongside you, so they're not more than 4 or 5 feet above the ground. And they're building up all that training awareness, the CAM, the cognitive associative motor skill, so they don't have to think about it. They know when it's going to stall.
That is the way to do it, because the thing is I mean, you can. It's easy to tell if you're going to stall when you're low or when you're close to the ridge.
Yeah.
If you're a little bit higher though, unless you're paying attention to the difference in airspeed on your face or on your arms or whatever it might be, it's really hard to tell sometimes. Especially if you're climbing in the thermal. And, well, I got a lot of brake, but maybe I'm just climbing real fast, or the thermal's settling down.
Once they've got that program, because they've done it 20 times in a month, and they do that every month, they can feel, the risers are going back.
Yeah.
I can feel the risers pressing back. Yeah, it's dropping back to stall. I can feel the brake pressures. I can feel the mush. I can feel the gliders deciding, can it spin left, can it spin right? And that's one of the characteristics of getting close to the stall. You're very close to it spinning. And you can feel that. You don't need the visual reference. It doesn't matter which way the wing's banked. You get that inbuilt feel. The key, same as everything else in aviation practice, and as Gabe said, don't slam off the controls. Ease them off, let it recover.
Well, while we're on the topic of stall, there's a couple other variables that one has to consider, and that is, for instance, carrying a heavy load,
Yeah.
your stall speed's going to go up. You're coming into wind gradient. Your likelihood is to stall because your airspeed is slowed down.
Yeah, if you do tight turn, it's not so much that your airspeed slows down, but the fact the pilot doesn't slow down. In other words, that swing, and you can go positive on pitch rather than negative, so you get that short-term temporary effect if you do a very tight turn. Very good point.
Perhaps you're flying at higher altitude and you make a landing at 10,000 feet and you're normally landing at sea level. That's going to affect your stall speed. So there's a lot of different variables that have to be considered when you're dealing with stall speeds. Not only recognizing the stall, but knowing for a fact that high altitude, bigger loading, all these things will be variables that have to be weighed in.
Yeah, and what you can do, of course, for that is you can do a certain amount of training. If you're based in California and you're low level, you pick a low pressure day, you've got nothing better to do, you load yourself up so you're at the top end of your weight range, because in a month's time you're going on holiday, you're going to be doing altitude flying. So just do a wee bit of training and simulate the sort of situation. So when you're up in the mountain and you've got less oxygen, your brain's not quite as sharp, you've practiced for that the month before, even though you did it at sea level. You just mimicked the conditions.
Mm-hmm. Good points today, Murray. Good stuff. Anything else we got to go over there?
I think we're just about wrapping up. And Murray, how's
coming up to the usual?
Coming up to the top. But before we let you off the hook, we're saying what can we do to create a little bit more income flow for you so that you can get that plane ticket to get over to California?
I've just got to keep working as hard as I can. It's just the usual story. I mean,
otherwise you'd have to fly less.
Yeah. Well, I'm not too bad. I used to have a lot of clients that would pay me to travel all over Scotland, and effectively, once you've arrived there, you may have to hang about for a wee while, but you're doing 15 minutes worth of photography, and they're paying you to travel 300-400 miles.
Right.
And then they're quite often needing stuff in a hurry, so the following day you're driving a couple of hundred miles to deliver to the clients. Yeah. And of course the rest of the time you're free. So I mean, they pay you to travel all the way up to north of Scotland. You do 15 minutes worth of photography. You fly for 4 hours, you drive back, you process, you drive overnight, and you're sitting outside the client's door at 8 o'clock in the morning. You hand over all the stuff, and then you go away to another flying site, and they pay the mileage. So
perfect, man. Got it sorted out.
Rich in flying.
That's right.
And next week's show?
Well, next week's show I'm going to probably be here solo because I think Gabriel's going to be
going to the clinic,
doing one of the clinics. So
it's the week after.
We'll keep. Oh, the week after. Okay, yeah. So I still got a little bit of lead time here. So we'll keep in touch with you, big guy.
Well, I'll hope for bad weather in Scotland, so I'm not out flying, and I can give you a bit of call-ins and sport. But it seems to be getting a lot better for more people calling in. The show seemed very lively the other week. That's great.
Okay, well, listen, take good care.
All the best, everybody.
Okay, this is David and Gabriel and Murray Hayes out of Scotland. We're signing off from the Paraglider Show. We'll stay tuned next week. We'll look forward to talking with you paragliding.